That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Roofman, the fifth film directed by Derek Cianfrance, which premiered at the 2025 Toronto International Film Festival. Paramount Pictures is releasing it theatrically October 10th, 2025.
Do I know another film from this director?
I'm sure you've heard me talk of him before. Like 15 years ago, Blue Valentine, which is technically his sophomore film with Ryan Gosling and Lil White Michelle Williams, kind of exploded on the indie scene and is quite good. And then he followed it up with The Place Beyond the Pines, which is also, I think, excellent. The Light Between Years with Michael Fassbender followed that. And then he did the series in 2020, I Know This Much Is True, with Mark Ruffalo, which could not be the title of this film.
What is Roofman about? A charismatic criminal, while on the run from the police, hides in a hidden space of a toy store. There, he adopts a new identity and becomes involved with an employee. Beginning a relationship as unlikely as it is risky. What is your pull quote?
An exceedingly romanticized portrait of a not-so-smooth criminal, Roofman is most striking as a change of pace from Cianfrance's usually resolute tendencies, mixing crime caper and rom-com aesthetics, but softening the rough edges, which would have allowed for a more interesting character study.
Mine. This stranger-than-fiction tale leans too heavily on romance, but a stellar cast and strong performances keep Roofman from falling flat. We're told immediately this is based on a true story.
So you know what that means.
A lot of embellishments to make it more cinematic.
Oh, yes.
But in this instance, I think we didn't need so much emphasis on the romance.
Well, I think it would have worked better if we could have gotten into the nitty-gritty of what Jeffrey Manchester, played by Channing Tatum, is really like. I think, especially in the first 15 minutes, when we're introduced to him and kind of his struggles, a lot of it doesn't make sense about how other people are reacting to him in his life.
Yeah. But the story's pretty simple. Channing Tatum plays Jeffrey Manchester. He's a former U.S. Army Reserve. He is back home. We see he has a baby mama.
Melanie Diaz, yeah.
And 3 kids.
Yeah, twin infants and an older daughter.
And this man acts like there is nothing more important to him than his children, which is funny because he very quickly falls in love with some other lady's kids. But he's struggling, and his baby mama, who works at a McDonald's, is frustrated with him because he's not bringing in any money. And we're told by his friend, portrayed by Lakeith Stanfield,
Steve,
that Jeffrey is very good at observing. We're also made to understand that he's supposed to be this brilliant mind. So with that information in tow, this man starts robbing fast food restaurants, mostly McDonald's. And he does so by busting a hole through the roof and dropping on in, hence his moniker, Roofman. But he gets caught after 45 break-ins and is sentenced to 45 years in prison. But of course, he can't be away from his kids, so he breaks out of prison and decides to hold up in a Toys R Us in Charlotte for 6 months.
In 2004, mind you.
He falls in love with a woman who works at the Toys R Us, Leigh, portrayed by
Kirsten Dunst.
And on the day this dummy is supposed to hop on a plane to leave the country after his friend Lakeith got him an entirely new identity, passport, all that. It's Christmas Day, and his girlfriend calls him like, we really miss you. Are you going to come by? The girls really want to see you. Okay, well, so you're going to be here at 5 o'clock, right? 5 o'clock. I feel like anyone could tell that that was a setup, but not Jeffrey. He rolls up at 5 o'clock with balloons and flowers, and the feds bust his ass. So he gets thrown back in prison. The end. And
notably, that happened after his last robbery was of the Toys R Us, where he was hiding out, where Kirsten Dunst works. So she finally kind of realizes what's going on, and the film intimates that she's the one that turned him in.
My first note is this movie should have been called Stupid Man. Because, first off, so in the beginning when we see that the mother of his children is frustrated with him and he starts robbing the McDonald's. We immediately cut to them moving into he even says, how many McDonald's do you have to rob to have the lifestyle you want? And then apparently it's 45. And we see this big, beautiful home with 2 nice brand new cars in the driveway. And he's throwing his daughter an extravagant birthday party.
And based on the infants, it looks to be about a year has transpired.
And when we first met his kids, the daughter had asked for a bicycle, but because he didn't have any money, he gave her like his old erector set, and she was disappointed. So a year later, now that he has all this money, he has bought her a bicycle. It's in the garage. So everyone runs to the garage. For some reason, he feels the need to open the garage, even though the bicycle is inside. And when he opens it, the police are waiting outside. Then there's a chase sequence. I just thought, for someone who's so smart, why is he living so extravagantly?
Woe be to those who covet material things.
But then he's in prison, and we see that he really is a brilliant mind, because he finds a kind of an ingenious way of breaking out. Mm-hmm. Because he said that we get narration from him saying that, you know, he's observing the prison, and the best way to be sneaky is to be good, because people will start to trust you and they'll look past you. Mm-hmm. And he's working in like the mechanic shop or something, and they're receiving deliveries regularly. So he gets the idea that he can hide under a truck, and he builds like a box that will allow him to hide when the guards check underneath the truck. So that's how he escapes. And then he says, well, usually people get caught because they stay on the run. So I'm just going to stay still. So he finds his way into a Toys R Us, and he finds like
this installation in the store.
Yeah, where they keep the bikes. There's like a little alcove that no one uses. And so he basically holds up in there. And then he has a little system in place where he has monitors and he can listen to everyone, specifically the manager of the Toys R Us, who's portrayed by Peter Dinklage.
Mm-hmm. Mitch.
A lot of his decisions don't make any sense to me, but the biggest one was that he tells us through narration that you just need to lay low. But this fool he joins a church because mm-hmm. he's into Kirsten Dunst's character.
Yes.
He frequently leaves the Toys R Us to go on dates with her. Ultimately, he gets close with her 2 kids. Mm-hmm. He even goes to like a singles brunch early on.
Well, and tells all the women there, they're not all single though, because I got the sense that Eileen, played by Uzo Aduba, is married to Pastor Ron.
That is his wife.
Yeah, so yeah. I don't know why she was at the singles brunch, but...
Well, I think she leads
She was facilitating all women.
Yeah, I really like Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh, yeah. He was a bright little character portrait in the middle of this. But I think what's really lacking is I don't really quite understand anything about Jeffrey Manchester.
Now that he's venturing out from the Toys R Us and meeting people, he's adopted a new persona, John Zorn. Mm-hmm. And this dummy tells these women at the singles brunch, which I thought was funny because only one man showed up and it was him. Mm-hmm. And these ladies are thirsty. His dumbass is telling everyone that basically he's like a secret federal agent. It's in the trailer where one of the women at the brunch works in law enforcement, like retired. So she's like, oh, I didn't realize there was like an intelligence branch in Charlotte. And he stumbles over it. Mm-hmm. And no one finds him suspicious, specifically Kirsten Dunst, which I find interesting.
Well, people, it's how many movies have you seen about a serial killer and they're freely admitting they kill
that's
people
true.
And everybody's like, ha ha, that's funny. But yeah, you know what a secret federal agent doesn't do? Announce it.
Tell everyone.
For sure.
She even says, I can pick you up for their first date. And he's like, well, I live in like a secret federal building. And
no. She's
like, okay, you can see me at the park. What?
No. Mm-mm.
And you let this man around your kids? Even Kirsten Dunst's oldest daughter,
played by Lily Calais,
she's suspicious of him. Like, you brought this weirdo around us. Like, yeah, why would you bring this man you know nothing about around your children? But he's super nice to them because he keeps saying he loves kids. He probably misses his own.
As portrayed by Channing Tatum, of course, he's incredibly charming. He's a handsome person, which is kind of unbelievable.
That's subjective, but okay.
Sure, a little bit. I mean... come on now. But early on, when he first gets arrested, Melanie Diaz, what's her name? Talina, his little girl's on the phone with her, and the little girl's like, Mom said we gotta turn our back on you because you're gonna be in prison so long. Like, we're leaving you in the dust. You can kick rocks. It's like, wow, that seems really cold.
Well, because she explains that they've been going to a support group for families who have loved ones in prison, and the support group is telling them that.
That too, but even before that, the first time we meet Melanie Diaz outside of McDonald's, she seems really cold. And there's a reason for that treatment
But they don't show us.
But they don't show it, because if you're just going off the Channing Tatum performance, it's like, well, how could anybody do that to him? He's so sweet and giving. And if we could have learned, I feel like if this had been made in the 80s, we would have gotten some hints of what his childhood was like, because this was a person who I think needs love and affirmation. And the only way, and the way that this person does that is by giving lavish gifts. And I think that because he is driven to crime because he can't, the catalyst is he can't afford to buy his daughter the gift she wants. And so then he goes overboard with it. But what about before that moment in time?
Yeah, I would have liked to understand the psychology of this character, because if he's so smart, he should know that, like, he did no risk assessment. So to get your daughter a bike, you basically got locked up for 45 years. That was his sentence when he first got arrested.
And it's like
over a bike.
There's some compulsion issues there. There's a whole intricate set of circumstances that led this person to hone his craft this way. You know, because I'm willing to bet he's probably more along the lines of Gary Busey and Hider in the House.
Right.
With Mimi Rogers.
Well, speaking of compulsion issues, he grows close to Kirsten Dunst's children, but the oldest one, she's kind of emo and probably the smartest one, recognizing that this is not a good idea to have this man around. But he wins her over because a point of contention between the oldest daughter and the mom is that she doesn't want to get her driver's license. Which is, what teenager doesn't want their driver's license? Is that a thing? I don't know.
Well, the thing is, she doesn't want to drive the stick shift. That's what her mom owns.
Well, because apparently the mom was not a gentle teacher. So Channing Tatum's character goes and buys a car for the oldest daughter, a beater as he calls it, but it's an automatic. And they go on a test drive, and I didn't understand why John thought it was a good idea to like race the car like it was Fast and Furious.
Yeah, with Jimmy O. Yang as the car salesman, and then the daughters and Kirsten Dunst in the back.
Or in the back seat. What did you make of his behavior?
I think he did that to disarm the oldest daughter's fears.
Sure.
Like showing her, like, you can beat this car to hell, and this is what it's going to do, and you don't maybe have to be so afraid. I think he was trying to get everybody loosened up. Although, I mean, so much of this plays. It's like those old film noirs that got reconfigured to be rom-coms, like While You Were Sleeping, which is like, actually, if you take away all the cute bullshit, this is really creepy.
Well, God, I feel like I'm just complaining. I did enjoy this movie well enough.
I did too.
But I think if you hear about, because I was reading about Jeffrey Manchester before we started the movie, what's most fascinating about him is the 45 robberies, breaking in through the roof, the subsequent conviction and incarceration, the escape, and then the 6 months living in a retail store. Because the real guy didn't just live in Toys R Us. I think he lived in a Circuit City as well, or only Circuit City. I'm not quite sure, but that's what's fascinating about him. This is because this movie feels like a rom-com.
It is, and I don't think it needs to be more authentic with what it's trying to say, because this is about as much as a true story of Jeffrey Manchester as is Glenn Powell playing the lead character in Hitman. Yeah.
So I think I would have preferred like a comedic crime thriller about this guy and how because, we do see John in the Toys R Us and how he takes a shower. You do get naked Channing Tatum for a scene trying to escape, because he's also very reckless running around this store, because of course there's surveillance and he figures out how to make it not record. But every night he's running around the store, causing a commotion. I kept thinking, there are still windows, like someone might walk by.
There's even a shot in the film where you see him through the windows from outside. But so he figures out how to turn off the internal surveillance. But, one of the plot points is Peter Dinklage is noticing somebody's eating all of the peanut M&Ms.
Right.
And hasn't checked the surveillance. He accuses Emery Cohen, who has nothing to do as Otis, of eating
Except
them.
be bullied by Peter Dinklage.
Right, but it's like, you didn't check and then notice that your surveillance cameras are off?
Yeah, I think the details of the actual, like the procedural element of this person living in a retail space for 6 months take a back seat to romanticize this idea that he was making a life for himself while hiding.
It also reminded me, him becoming fascinated with Leigh, Kirsten Dunst, while being a creeper, listening in on everybody's conversations. That's how he gets to meet her, is she is organizing a toy fund at her local church and asking Peter Dinklage to donate some used toys that they can't resell, and he pops over there. But that reminded me of that sequence in Frankenstein where the creature is hiding with the family of the blind man and is secretly helping out the family.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like there's so interesting elements about this kind of lonely person that is soft-hearted and sweet and wears his heart on his sleeve, but also, is prone to violence and putting people's lives in danger by holding them at gunpoint. Like there's an odd, dichotomy to this person. Why don't we? I wish that this had been more adeptly explored.
Well, to be positive for a minute, so Ben Mendelsohn and Uzo Aduba are a married couple who run a church called Crossroads, which makes me think of Maria Bamford. But they're a lot of fun.
Hiding behind their Jimi Hendrix font.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Lakeith Stanfield as Steve, one of John Jeffrey's buddies from the Reserve. I kind of wish he would have been the main character.
Kinda, yeah.
He had a lot more energy to him. But I think looking at a picture of the real Jeffrey Manchester, Channing Tatum fit the bill.
Enough, yeah.
And he was likable enough.
Yeah, I think Lakeith makes excellent use of what could have been
a handful of scenes
with throwaway dialogue. And then
his girlfriend,
Juno Temple.
I thought she was a lot of fun.
Michelle. Juno Temple's always a lot of fun. I think she's wonderful in Woody Allen's Wonder Wheel. If you've never seen Killer Joe, yeah, I've been a fan of hers for a long time.
I don't think I've ever not liked Kirsten Dunst in a role.
Same.
She's just a really good actor.
I agree. And
her face is very, I don't know, she feels very accessible to me for some reason.
I agree. And you know what? She plays the hell out of this performance because, again, in retrospect, there are a lot of questionable things about this film. But when you're in it, being confronted with this romance from her perspective, I thought there are a few really touching moments, especially the last scene between those two. I think Kirsten Dunst plays the hell out of what could have been just a so-so role.
I think my favorite character, though, is Peter Dinklage as the Toys R Us store manager, because he's an asshole. I think his nonverbal acting is what sent me. All the faces he's making and the grunting, like he's annoyed by his employees.
I mean, I've worked in retail for people like that, so maybe I was less amused, but I think he's quite good. But Ben Mendelsohn, every time Ben Mendelsohn is on screen, who's singing in church, and that hair, I wanted more of that character. Yeah.
Okay, so what gets this character hemmed up is that he goes to Lakeith saying, because there's this whole side story about how like Lakeith has been deployed and so he won't be back till December 1st, and Jeffrey is very precise about dates and times and following up, so he follows up and he goes there and Lakeith says, well, I can get you a new identity, but it's going to be expensive, $50,000. So Jeffrey realizes that he needs to do some more robberies. So first he tries to rob the pawn shop. Oh, another plot point is that he's been getting money to live and like go on dates with Kirsten Dunst's character by pawning video games. And we find out that the inventory is missing like $10,000. So more so than the peanut M&Ms, you're missing $10,000 worth of video games and you never check the cameras?
I find it hard to believe that Mitch, the manager, was not looking at tapes.
But first he tries to rob the pawn shop where he was pawning stuff, and he falls through, because it's in a strip mall, he falls through
like a nail salon or
like
something.
a massage parlor. Yeah. My other thought was, for someone who's known as the Roofman and has broken into so many stores, every time we see him fall, he falls so clumsily. Like he crashes into it. You would think someone who's done this many times would be better at falling. But also that massage parlor had like bulletproof windows. Why would the massage parlor have that?
I don't know what's going on, Charlotte.
But anyway, he does that. Then he tells Lakeith, like, I have the money, or I'll have the money. He goes, well, you need to cover your tracks. Did you, like, go to the doctor or anything? No, I did go to the dentist. Well, you didn't take x-rays, did you? Well, yeah. Well, you have to get those back because they can trace you. So what does his character do? He goes and blows up the dentist office.
Which, we meet the dentist because she's kind of annoyed at him. She's like, how do you have 14 cavities, sir?
Because he's only eating M&Ms.
And not brushing his teeth, presumably. But, it's this black woman, this dentist, and he just blows up her shit. And Channing Tatum has a line like, whoopsie or something. It's like, you're a menace.
He is a menace. I think, ultimately we find out that he is sentenced to even more time than he was the first go round. But then we learn that he tried to escape twice after being caught again. But I think it's funny. I think the final line is that he promised not to try again. Like, yeah, right.
Again, I think that this could have been an interesting character portrait, and you could have, I think you could have kept, significant elements of this romance that's developing. But what is behind that? Like he when he first breaks out, he does try to go see his kid, and he sees that there are plainclothes cops like watching outside their house because they assume that's where he's going to go, and he eventually stops trying to contact her because it's just too impossible. And it's like, but he's fulfilling that need by adopting a new family. But what is that saying about him?
Right.
I don't know.
What would you give Roofman?
Again, it's fine. I think this should be a double feature with Chris Pine's Pool Man. Or you could have a triple feature with Hitman, Pool Man, and Roofman. But I'm going to give it 2.5 because I think it's lacking, especially from somebody like Cianfrance, whose previous efforts feel quite nuanced.
I enjoyed it. I would give it 3 out of 5. I think it would make it's a great airplane movie.
Fair.
Anything else?
No.
Join us on Patreon and listen to our podcast. Bye.